Hello, and welcome to Club Solutions Leadership Viewpoint. I'm your host, Rajs, and I'm joined here today with Kevin McHugh, the famous Kevin. Thanks for being here today, Kevin.
Thanks, Ralph. Great to be here.
Yeah, so we go back a long ways through the industry, being on roundtables together. But for the couple people that maybe don't know who you are, can you just do a little introduction of yourself?
Sure. Once again, my name is Kevin McHugh. I was the president of the Atlantic Club in Manasquan and Red Bank. Recently been taken over by the Genesis Health Clubs. And now I'm in the role of regional vice president for Genesis. I've been in the industry for about 32 years. I started in being the sales and marketing manager here at the Atlantic Club, and then went way up to COO and eventually to the president.
Yeah. So thank you. So we were in a roundtable for about 7-8 years together, and I've had the opportunity to be able to spend a lot of time with you talking about business and culture and how we get the most out of business, but how we get the most out of our people, and why we're in this industry in the first place. So I want to talk to you today. Mostly we'll focus on culture building, leadership, and developing new people, because really what we want to do is we want to help new managers, young leaders, people who are new to managing people develop quickly, and share some of maybe the mistakes we've learned, or some of the things that we've picked up along the way that could help other people. Okay, so that's what we're going to do today.
Right.
So first, I want to congratulate you on the Jim Worthington Advocate of the Year Award. You got it at URSA at March. I know it's not URSA anymore, but technically, I guess it was when you got that award.
Right.
And it was awesome. I mean, your speech was great. It was just great for you to get that acknowledgement, because I have seen and worked on with you just a few things of how dedicated you are to the industry. I mean, just couple things I know, like how you dove into the Fit Act. I worked with you on Augie's Quest, and I know you continue to work on that and maybe still do. It's super dedicated to that. Business is an essential business, or club industry is essential business during COVID, how hard you worked on that. So my question for you, Kevin, is what drives you to dive into these things and take a leadership role at the level that you do?
I remember Pat Laws, the owner of the Atlantic Club, was asked one time why she did a lot of things that she did, and she said, because I can. And I think sometimes we have to take a look at what are our abilities, and are we really maximizing that, and how can we really not only be on the court, don't be a spectator, but be on the court. And then I think my success has come from the people that I surround myself with. I've been very fortunate, Ralph, to be with you guys on the Rex Roundtable. I'm fortunate to be around people at URSA. I'm fortunate to be people around Augie's Quest and other business leaders. And it's the ability to surround yourself with the right people and develop relationships. One person can't do anything in this world, but one person can have 20 people that know 20 other people, and that's how you get things done. It's not about one person. It's about what the collective group can do, and that's the same thing in business.
Yeah. It's there's that principle of being around other hot people, right? And it's fun when you connect with other people that you want to work on projects with. And it seems like that's part of what you do, right? Is there's people that you enjoy working with, and it's like, okay, and we've got this great project to do. Let's do it together. It feels like there's a little bit of that with you.
Yeah, and I also think that there's more to work in the fitness industry than going to work 9 to 5. There's so many opportunities to expand yourself, to expand your role, to expand your influence, to really make a difference in the world. That's really, when we chose the fitness industry, it wasn't to become multimillionaires, although there are people that are multimillionaires in it, but the majority of us aren't. But we can go home and feel rewarded, because we are really impacting people's lives, whether they're chronic disease or whether they're in terminal disease. We have a real opportunity, because we've got millions of members, we've got millions of influencers, and sometimes we just don't take advantage of that. And that's no different than running an individual club. We have to expand our reach and our vision.
Yeah, yeah. And it's funny you say influencers, because I think we tend to think of influencers in the social media type of definition, but really influencers are people who just have the opportunity to touch other people. And we're all influencers in very subtle ways. So much bigger definition to that.
Mm-hmm.
So you're known, Kevin, for so much innovation at the Athletic Club and things that you've done. Exercises, medicine, getting your facility certified through an association. You can tell us which one it is, but I mean, you've done so many different things there. Tell me about how you've been able to build the culture of creation and innovation at the Athletic Club.
Well, it's again, I have to say it starts at the top. Nothing's impossible. And I truly believe that. And Pat, the owner, truly believed that. And I would say that the majority of our management team believes that. One of the things when we got involved with running spas, which we have one of the largest day spas in the entire industry, we didn't know what we were doing. So we started at ground zero, and we decided to ask people that were really good at what they did. And we said, we don't want to hire you. We just want to learn from you, because we have other people here that we want to grow. So our spa our spa was never run by people that in the spa industry. It was run by our managers that learned from people in the spa industry. And then we made it work for us.
Mm-hmm.
We opened up a school, one of the largest early childhood schools in the state of New Jersey. Same thing. We actually had a camp counselor that wound up becoming the first director, and now she's 21 years later, she's the director. And we just look to see how can we be disruptors, I think, is more of it. So we don't want to run a business like everybody else runs it. We want to disrupt the industry that we go in. So how we run a school is different than any other school that's in our area. How we run our spa is different than the other spas. And how we run our club, we hope, is the same way. We're part of we're the largest commercial medical fitness facility in the world. Doesn't mean much, but it sounds pretty good, right?
It sounds awesome.
But when we went for our certification, we just didn't ask them to certify our fitness center. We said, we want you to certify all 44 acres in Red Bank. So every single one of our employees of 650 at the time had to be medical fitness certified, had to be CPR certified, everything from safety. But we did a disruptor. We didn't take the easy way out. And it got everybody involved. It was a great team building episode. And we wound up getting 100 out of 100. Hospitals don't get 100 out of 100.
Yeah.
So we just that, and the funny part, Ralph, is when I said the passing score is 80, the whole room said, well, we're not going to get an 80. I mean, that's just the culture of, if we're going to do it, let's go for it. And I think that's really that's the Athletic Club has always been about. We don't want to just do status quo. If we're going to do it, let's be the best at it, or let's not do it at all. And we've gotten rid of businesses that other people would love. And we said, that's just we're not good enough at it. Let's move it on. Let's find out something else that we can be better at.
Yeah. Yeah. So talking about culture and people, right? Because each time now I've asked you about how you're able to do that. You say, well, it's certainly about the team and the people, right? Because no one person can do it. So you've been able to create a team where this has become a value, and you've been able to select people who are on board for doing these types of things. Give us a little bit of an idea how you've been able to get to that point where you have a team of people that say, no, not 80, 100. How have you been able to do that?
I would think, well, part of it is we believe in education. I mean, that's before COVID. I would bet you we were spending at the rate of a Fortune 500 company per person. We always believed in bringing speakers in. We would send our team out to, if they're in the spa, they're going to the spa thing. If they're in education, they're going to education workshops. If they're in the fitness, they're going to medical fitness. They're going to URSA. They're going to any athletic business. We just believe that education is profit, but we don't go to meetings like Ralph. You remember when we were at Rex? I'd say, if I don't come out of here with $50,000 worth of ideas, I've wasted these last 3 days. Now, it doesn't mean I'm going to do $50,000 worth of ideas, but it gives me something when I come back from that meeting. It wasn't just because it was fun to hang around with Ralph and the team. It was fun to hang around with Ralph and the team, but but we learned something, and we're going to do something, and we're going to go into action on something. Well, you do enough of those meetings with enough of people, you keep the innovation going. Because I'll just, a quick aside is my first Rex Roundtable meeting, Ralph, was in Florida, and I was sitting next to Paul Newbert from Greenwood Athletic Club. And I thought I was the best at everything. And they invited me into this meeting. I thought I was the best. And they'd asked me to be on this roundtable for like 2 years. And I finally said, okay, fine, I'll do it. And I was sitting on this, and so I was asked, so how are you doing in personal training? And I was the first one that they asked that. And I said, yeah, we do pretty well in personal training. And they said, so what do you do? And I told them, and then everyone said, well, that's great. And then Paula Newbert right next to me says, yeah, we do $2.5 million, which is $1 billion more than I was. I said, wait a second, what did you say? You do $2.5 million in personal training? And she says, yeah. Why? And I said, because I thought I was doing a really good job, but I wasn't. But right. I was in my bubble, and I thought that we were all doing a great thing. But unless you get yourself around other people to find out what they're doing and find out that they're doing things better, no one does everything great. And so you need to surround yourself with reality. And when we're in our clubs, sometimes we get so stuck in who we are and thinking that we do everything great. Yeah. And you just have to get humbled as many times as possible.
Yeah, that was the word I was thinking of is just, you have to have the humility to be able to understand that there's people doing it better than you, and there's more answers that are out there than what you have. Mm-hmm. But you got to check the ego a little bit and understand that, no, I'm good, but there's a lot of really good people out there.
Right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And, just following up on what you said about the education thing. And I think what's really important is that you created an expectation that you come back with something, right? Is that you can go to these things, but you're not going to hang out at the spa convention and just have a good time. You're going with the intention that you are going to learn something and bring that back. Mm-hmm. And that's just a much different mindset. Like going to URSA, you can go to URSA and just kind of float around for 3 days, or you can work the trade show, make the connections, talk to the people, come back with a lot of follow-up items. And there's a big difference between those two experiences and going. And it sounds like you were able to sort of weed through the people who didn't necessarily have that value, but were the people who said, yeah, that's what I like doing. I like learning and then coming back and applying it and make the team better. And it sounds like you were able to get to that point where that's where you just had a team of those people.
Yeah. And I think, Ralph, what we did also is about 25 years ago, everything at the Atlantic Club was lumped into one. And we decided that wasn't the right solution. It wasn't right for our members. Why are they paying for tennis if they don't play tennis? Why are they paying for things? So we simplified our membership, and then we made all those other businesses separate businesses. So it wasn't the Atlantic Club Tennis Center. It became the Tennis Center at the Atlantic Club. Why? Because we can compete with other tennis centers. So that's why our guys went to the USTA. That's why they went to all these different workshops. And the same thing with Milagro Spa. It's not the Atlantic Club's Milagro Spa. It's Milagro Spa at the Atlantic Club. They go all the spa stuff. Because we wanted to be competing with the best of breed. We wanted to be against the Red Door. We wanted to against, all those places that are out there. And if you're part of a health club, then they're saying, oh, you're just a health club spa. That's no, right. We're not. So it gave everybody in these departments had their own reason to feel good about their business. That wasn't a burden.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a really important point. That when it's branded separately as a different entity, it has a much different feel to the member than when it's branded as its own unique entity. Yeah. And I saw that same thing, even like with, dance programs for kids and those type of things. When we were able to have it as a separate entity, it just had different credibility than just the dance classes at the club. So yeah, I think that's a really, really important point. So Kevin, let me ask you a little more about sort of the advice maybe you would give to young leaders, people who are new to maybe managing people or new to leadership roles, or just are looking for something new to be working on for self-improvement? What would be your advice to young leaders coming up? Something that you learned early that really made a big difference.
Well, my father, Pat the owner, always used to quote this, but my father taught me at a very young age when I was in college. He said, when you get your first job, your number one priority is to make your boss look good. It's not to make you look good. It's to make your boss look good. So you go the extra yard, you do the extra things that your person that you're working for will benefit from, because if they benefit from it, you'll grow also, and they'll give you more opportunities. So sometimes a young leader wants to prove themselves and try to be their boss or whatever. I wouldn't recommend that. I would learn from the person that you work for. How can you help them be more successful? Because then they're going to be your advocate also. And I think that's hard right now in the social media world, where people are working virtually and they're not live in offices like they used to be in the old days. But they lose a lot by not having that interaction with the person, that they work for. And also maybe that boss's boss, that sees that too. So also don't be, you're not owed anything. No one's owed anything. You get what you deserve. And, I've always had, I was fortunate. I just always had a good work ethic. I mean, I don't mind work. I'm able to make it work with the family and a church and everything else. But I really think that a young manager needs to be sucking up every single thing that they can, take every opportunity to work extra, take on an extra project, and not for anything for money. Just do it because of the experience. Experience was a young manager thinks that their timeline is not reality. What they do that may take them an extra year could make their next 10 years so much more successful. So. Yeah,
no, that's awesome. Those are excellent tips. One, I mean, I think it comes back to a little bit of humility, right? For the young person, that, yeah, you are the second banana, third banana, fourth banana right now. You'll have your turn, but play that role and make the people above you look good, and then put the extra effort in. Right. That's what I hear you saying, is that, be willing to do it, and not like, am I going to get paid more if I take this on? No, just take it on, because you're going to be more valuable, whether you're at that particular institution or another, you're going to be more valuable. So,
yeah. And there's one thing too, that there was one other thing too for young managers. There's that triangle that has competency, character, and consistency. And you have to be all three, right? So you got to be consistent. You got to be competent, and you also have to have the character that's going to make you valuable. Because if you don't have all three of them, you can't be great with people. Aren't going to give you any work if they don't think you're going to be consistent. They're not going to give you any work if they don't think you've got the right character. So those three things that I learned, the 3 C's, I just think it's something that a young manager has to be competent. They've got to be consistent, and they've got to have character.
Awesome. That's great, Kevin. Thank you so much. So just to recap a little bit, what I heard you say at the beginning, that really want to stretch people to network a little bit, to get out there and meet the people in your community that are like businesses, but also people in your industries that are like businesses, because there's just so much opportunity to learn once you get out of your own walls and really understand what's out there. And value education. Right. And really just sort of dig in and look for where those opportunities are to learn from all different aspects, from trade shows to professional organizations, et cetera, et cetera. Well, great. Any closing words?
No, I would say that if this is being watched by people in the fitness industry, get involved. There's so many ways to get involved, whether it's from a charity where you're helping others that possibly need your help, or if it's from an industry standpoint that we need to grow this industry. Take advantage of the opportunities and you'll benefit from it. You know, I think everybody will benefit from it.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Kevin. I appreciate you spending the time with me today.
Thanks, Ralph. Appreciate it.
All right.